The Nintendo DS was an insanely popular handheld that spawned several variations and was home to some of the greatest games of the generation. But one stands out as the best game for the system, perhaps even of all time. Yes, I'm talking about Cory in the House. Welcome to Retronomics, the series that follows price trends in video games, and today I wanted to relax from my extensive series on the 2020 video game price boom to focus on one of the highest rated video games on Metacritic and one that is responsible for the Nintendo DS's dominance in 2008 and beyond. Cory in the House. Now, who is Cory and whose house is he in? Cory in the House is the first Disney Channel spin-off, and it stars Cory Baxter, who is the sister of Raven Baxter from the show That's So Raven. Cory moves to DC because his dad is the chef for the White House. It only aired from January 2007 to September 2008 with 34 episodes, but that was enough to make a Nintendo DS game just like its predecessor That's So Raven. Cory in the House was developed by Handheld Games, and it was one of the last games that they ever developed because they knew that they would never reach that level of greatness again. It was panned by critics for its lackluster game premise, clunky controls, and filler minigames, and even for 2008 that was pretty bad. But those are game journalists. We all know that they don't know what they're talking about because they aren't real gamers. Look at the Metacritic score of a 9.2 and just look at how life-changing this game is and tell me that this game isn't legit. Best game of all time from AlphaGoat69, 10 out of 10. This game even changes people's lives. Someone lost 450 pounds and went from homeless to living in a big white house just like Cory. And yet, Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS remains undervalued. I picked up a sealed copy on eBay for $30 because I wanted a minty copy, and I have a feeling that the value is only going to go up from here. The main reason being is that this is a Nintendo DS game based on a popular anime of the era, and when you have a game that can only be playable on a system as unique as the Nintendo DS, the likelihood of it ever being released is incredibly low. And this is a licensed game. As you may be aware, licensed games tend to get tossed into the void when it comes to being re-released. Just look at how long it took GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64 to be re-released. And even then, it's still locked to the digital storefront, which means that it might be delisted once everybody stops playing it as much. Also, consider the huge push to bring back old TV shows aimed at the same audience that grew up with them. X-Men 97, Fuller House, iCarly, Zoe 101, Animaniacs. What's to stop Disney from bringing back Cory in the House in the modern day, where Cory goes on new adventures and maybe returns to the White House? I don't really know how the show actually goes. I was 25 when the show came out, but the recaps of the show suggest that it doesn't really matter where Cory is. He can have antics anywhere. The revitalization of Cory in the House could cause a spike in the game's popularity outside of a handful of diehards. Imagine how world-changing that would be given all the reviews of this game. Heck, even adding the original show to Disney Plus could cause the price to skyrocket. But even without those factors, the price for Cory in the House was affected by the 2020 price boom in a unique way. The CIB price started at $7.56 and ended 2023 at $11.66, which is a 54.23% increase in just 4 years. That's a pretty good return on investment if I do say so myself. It did drop 30% from the start in April of 2020, but it did rebound in June and then finally had a positive gain in September of 2020, where it would stabilize and remain at that price until March of 2021, where it would start to increase. In April, it would increase 5.5% to 11.64% from the start of 2020, and then peak at 22.35% in September, and then level off again until April of 2022, where it would start to climb the most. 3 straight months of growth, all the way up to a whopping $12 for a CIB copy before a brief dip in October. The price would be volatile in 2023, where it would end at $11.66. And if I stopped at the end of 2023, you would think that it would go even higher. However, prices did drop just a little, and as of the recording of this video, a CIB copy would set you back about $10.32, which is still 36% higher than the $7.56 it started at. New prices weren't as volatile, but the game did rise 106% in 4 years, starting at $8.52 and ending at $17.58, and the price has remained relatively stable for the past couple of months, which makes this one of the best times to buy the game if you haven't already. Everything I stated makes this one of the best investments in game collecting. I plan to get mine graded because according to population reports, it would be the first ever graded copy of Cory in the House, and thus the highest grade available. While there isn't any sales history for graded copies of Cory in the House, given its notoriety as a life-changing game, I'm sure it will go for tens of thousands of dollars. And I know what you're saying, sure, you can emulate, but have you tried to emulate a DS game? There is something magical about using that tiny stylus and tapping the screen, moving Cory along as he sneaks through areas, including the White House, to stop the hypnosis plan of an evil toy maker, and the laugh track piping through those fantastic speakers makes it an unrivaled experience. And if you did emulate, not only would you be a dirty thief, you wouldn't be able to call yourself a true fan, and you'd lose out on one of the most important investments of your life. That's why I bought mine, but I'd never sell it. This game means so much to me, considering that I bought it just to make this video, and it actually might not show up before April Fool's Day when this video goes live. But I still love it, and I hope you guys do too. If you want a more serious deep dive into retro video game prices, I hope you check out the video that I recently did about the 2020 price boom. I detailed the price trends of 23,000 video games, including Cory in the House, and I plan on doing a more detailed system overview and maybe an overview of specific games with interesting price trends surrounding it, just like Cory in the House. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Nick, and I'll see you next time.